Good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
And welcome to Nerdy Gangstas. I am. Can I get a... Well, thank you all so much for coming today. And so, do y'all think, like, why I am? Like, what does that even mean? Like, why are we here today? Well, I am is a positive affirmation of not only who we are, but what we are. I don't know if you guys have heard, some people say, you are what you eat, or you are what you wear. Mm-hmm. You are what you think, what you say about yourself. There's actually a proverb that says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Yep. Mm-hmm. And so, really, what we say about ourselves, I've seen some people, they get up in the morning, they look in the mirror, and they say, I am beautiful, I am talented, I am smart. And it's really telling yourself, both externally and internally, what you are. And you end up kind of evolving into what you believe that you can be. And so that's what today is about. Is about just that positive affirmation. And that's what Nerdy Gangsta is all about. Because Nerdy Gangsta is a clothing line that my family, that we started. And we all have on our I Am Nerdy Gangsta shirts. But you see like the squares, you see the lines kind of connecting them. And that really symbolizes how, we all have our various life journeys and paths, but ultimately, we're all connected. So that's really what we want to show today. And so I want to first just kind of talk about Nerdy Gangsta, kind of what that means, and kind of how that ties into the I Am. So Nerdy Gangsta, like I said, is a clothing line that our family started. And, first off, our mission is to show that being smart, but not only being smart, but just wanting to just constantly, learn more, grow more, develop more, that really is a cool thing, But not only that, but we really want to inspire people. We want to inspire people to, whatever your goals, your aspirations, your dreams, whether it be academic, career, entrepreneurial, or just personal, whatever those things are, we just say, you know what, pursue it with boldness, with passion, and just be a game changer, and use your talents to make a difference. And I know each lady around this table has definitely done that. So sometimes as we're trying to, pursue our dreams, find our purpose, some people, I think they just know. They know, okay, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to be, and they know what that path is. But oftentimes, I would say the vast majority, I can speak for myself, sometimes you think you know, but life happens. It happens, and it throws you a curveball, and you going down path A, you think, okay, this is it, and that curveball comes, and you end up down path B, and oftentimes going down that path B is what gets you to your destiny.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I can honestly say that is my testimony, and especially for just starting Nerdy Gangsta, because, I thought my purpose was to be an engineer. That's what I went to school for. That's what I was. That's what I do. I never knew. So, literally, Nerdy Gangsta started one day, me and my daughter, just driving in the car. And she's telling me about something that happened at school. And I'm like, okay. So I'm listening, and I'm like, okay, here's how we're going to handle that situation. And she was like, Mom, you are such a nerdy gangster. I was like, First off, I don't even know what that means, but I hope it's something good. But, you know, so she was like, you look at, you know, whatever the situation is, you listen, you analyze, and then you get strategic. You are into action. So doesn't matter what the barrier, what the challenge, you going over it, around it, on whatever you have to do to push through. And she said, she gave an example of a couple of years ago, my husband was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and literally given 6 months to live. Now, can you imagine, you know, everything's great and all of a sudden you get that news, like, oh, I just had this little pain on my side, and then you like, what? And so she was like, even with that, you didn't, you heard what the doctor said, but you stood on your faith. You were like, no. And then they, you know, my husband went through surgeries and chemotherapy, and we asked, well, how long does he have to be on chemo? And they said for the rest of his life. I was like, oh no, not today. And so I just started researching and just, you know, reading, and God just brought people my way with, you know, just information, just resources. We found out about alternative treatments and just how changing your diet, how that plays a role. But long story short, 5 years later, he is still here. No medicine, no chemo, no nothing.
That is awesome.
So, you know, she was like, you that for somebody else probably would, they just would have just, and she was like, no, you just like, okay.
Right over that.
Right over that. And so my husband was like, you know what? Why don't we do something to inspire others, to help others? And that's literally how Nerdy Gangsta got started.
Wow. Awesome.
And we started the clothing line, and kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, you are what you think about yourself. You are what you wear, you know, because it becomes you. It becomes who you are. And so I think sometimes people hear Nerdy Gangsta, and so the nerdy, I think they can relate to that, because that's just, you know, what you have to do. That's you just figuring it out. But the gangsta, a lot of times it has kind of a negative connotation. And so what we want to just impress upon is that, no, the gangsta is that perseverance, that persistence, that I got to push through. Because sometimes it's a life or death situation, like in our case. So that's what Nerdy Gangsta represents, you know. And so I wanted to get a group of ladies together and just talk about your story, because Nerdy Gangsta, it is a clothing line, but more than that, it's a lifestyle brand. And I just want, you know, I told you, this was my story, right? And, you know, I thought this was my purpose. Life happened, and I got thrust into this, going this direction, into this purpose and this destiny. So I just thought, you know what, if this is my story, I'm sure there are other stories out there that are just as powerful, that are just as impactful. And so I just really wanted to just kind of bring everybody together, share, and just, you know, you guys just kind of share your stories. You know, what is your testimony? What are your dreams, your aspirations? In the course of trying to achieve those goals, what challenges did you run into? And how did you persevere through? How did you get Nerdy Gangsta? You know, what did you have to do? You know, because we all have something in our lives. So I just want to just open it up and just, you know, let everybody just share and just, let's just fellowship. So, and you know what, and this is the thing. Okay, you know how you know somebody, you work with them, you go to church or whatever with them, but you don't really know. You don't know their story. You don't know where they've been, what they had to go through. Now, I had worked with Miss Julia for some years.
Right.
She just gave me a snippet of her story, and I was like, oh my God. I never knew. So, Miss Julia, if you could just kind of